And joining us on the line, it is great to welcome back to Flow EchoLily. G'day, EchoLily. How you doing today?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. Now, firstly, when we spoke last time, we established that you're one of our frontline workers in a hospital. How is that for you at the moment? Are you okay? And when things do get a bit tense, and because that's what we're hearing that at times, how are you sort of coping with all that? So, are you doing okay? Are you okay?
Yes. Well, thanks for asking. Yes, I am okay, and we are okay. We're in Melbourne now, so we, had a bit of rise in COVID cases for a couple of months now, but things are under control. Things are getting very busy at the hospitals, but luckily we've planned for this, so everything's under control. I'm happy that everyone's out getting their vaccinations and that we are reopening. It's great. How things in Adelaide, in South Australia?
I think pretty much the same. We're waiting to be opened up, and once we are, we might see a bit of a spike in things. But I understand we're heading towards the vaccination levels that they want. But it's sort of, I think it's one of those issues that if we can just deal with the facts of it all and avoid the politics and all the spin, it'd be a lot better. But it seems to be creeping in just about everything, and having issues with family members and all that. I think it's it's something that shouldn't be as divisive as it is, but it seems to have gone down that road. So, which is very frustrating. And
and you're absolutely right. I think you mentioned the word divisive, and that's exactly what's happening, and it's we've had outbreaks and pandemics before in the past, but nothing quite like this, isn't it? It's really divisive, and it's upsetting, really.
Well,
but the good thing is most people, and the numbers show that most people are doing the right thing. So that's good.
That is good, and yes, and we all want to just get back to life as normal, and that's one way of doing it. But enough about that. So all that sort of side, that's your day job, and
we got carried away.
That we did, and that's now we've got a new song out now. It's called Mind Spin. So we're speaking of things in the mind and spinning around, and. Now, I note here that the song was inspired by a night out with the girls drinking lots of wine. So what's going on here? Was this shaking off all the troubles of the day, or what was going on?
Yeah, sometimes you get inspiration from really random things, and a beautiful song, comes out at the end of it, and that's exactly what happened. It was a night out with a group of my girlfriends, and coincidentally, we were all going through, some kind of breakup or relationship issues, and we decided to have some wine. We talked about it, and when I got home, I was really tipsy. I remember just being really tipsy.
Come on, how tipsy were you?
And I was in my studio, and I'm like, what if I write about the different stages of drunkenness, and how different people are different types of drunk. And, some people are more disinhibited and some people are the opposite. So I thought, maybe I'll just, put everything in a song. And that's what I did. And Mind Spin was written in that very same night.
Yeah.
And the next morning I was like, I think I wrote a song last night. So I went to the studio, I played it. I was like, yes, this is a great song. It's a great tune. And so I brought the song over to my friend Andrew, and he's a very talented techno producer. And I thought, because I want a bit of an upbeat vibe to it.
Yeah.
And he took the song, and we did some work with it in the studio together, and Mind Spin was born.
It's got a nice rhythm and a nice groove to it. That's something that I'm glad it was sped up, because when I first heard it and I'm reading through and I noticed that it was sped up, I'm thinking, I'm kind of glad it is, because I think if it was slowed down too much, it would be. It just wouldn't feel right. But once you've sped it, you can feel the rhythm and the groove. It certainly fits. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly right, and that's a good observation, Clayton. It's the initial rhythm and the vibe to it is a lot slower. I wanted to write a very very chill and kind of vibe in the song, but then when my friend Andrew and I sat down, we thought maybe just let's put an upbeat tone to it, and we did that, and we actually increased the speed of the song, the tempo of the song by a couple of beats per minute.
Yeah.
So that you can get that catchiness that you've just mentioned. So it's great that actually came across. So good to know.
Well, I spoke to another artist recently, a country artist who's by the name of Shane Nicholson. He's a legend in the country music industry and the Australian music industry. And we were talking about being in the studio, and he loves getting into his studio late at night, and he often goes in there with a bottle of whiskey. And I made reference to him about the output of what he does. Does it depend on the quality of the whiskey? So I'm saying to you, EchoLily, the wine that you were drinking, what was the quality like? Because I'm just sort of wondering, you've got a great track here. Now, was that based because of the quality of what you were drinking, or if you were drinking better wine, will we have a better song? So come on, give me the answer.
I don't know, Clayton. I don't think I'm that sophisticated that I would remember what wine I had. I left it to the girls to decide what wine to get for for the table that night. But it was certainly certainly of sufficient enough in terms of quantity.
Yes, it sounded like there was plenty of quantity there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So does this happen to you often, where you get with your girlfriends and it might not be around sort of drinking, but it might be just getting together, that you sort of start to pick up a feel or a vibe for a potential song?
I tend to. Well, according to my closest friends, I tend to zone out sometimes. And I think that might be I just, in the middle of a conversation where there are a lot of people, I feel like I do sort of, as I've already sort of said what I wanted to say as a part of that conversation, I've contributed, and then I would just sort of be more quiet, and I do tend to zone out sometimes. So maybe it was during those times that I thought, that's a good idea for a song. And I observe, so I'm very sort of observant. So I like to observe what's happening around me.
Yep.
And sometimes, happy accidents like that happen, like, having an idea will pop up, for example.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know from my own personal experience being in hospitals, they can be very quiet places, but they can also have their own rhythm and their own sort of sounds that, have any of those sort of stayed with you that you've been tempted to put into a song?
Yep. I don't think so. I mean, I find myself being very good at separating what happens at work and what happens in my music. I hope it stays that way, because when I'm at work, I'm 100%. Nothing so far. Yeah, except we are trying to see a few friends, a few colleagues of mine. We are trying to see if we could monitor brain waves and change them to sound waves.
Yep.
So if you're sleeping, there's a sound to it. There's a music to it.
Okay.
If you're awake, there's it changes to a different beat. So we are trying to see if we can connect that, so changing brain waves to sound waves.
Wow.
Which has been done before. It's nothing very novel, but it would be good if I could actually assign instruments to it, so it becomes a song instead of just the beeping and the buzzing.
That sounds very interesting. Yeah.
So that's something interesting that we are thinking of doing.
Another question I have for you, EchoLily, about your songwriting. When you close your eyes and you're listening to your music, do you see it in terms of colour? Do you see different colours for the different sort of textural changes that you're going through?
I know that there is an actual condition, but no, I don't get that. No. Do you?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes when I'm sort fantastic. When I'm closing my eyes and I think about
synesthesia or something. It's a condition. You see colours. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it just was something I just felt interesting that, and I find it with sort of music very similar to what we're about to hear with Mindspin, that I just sort of start seeing everything in different coloured waves. So I just sort of wondered about that with you.
Okay, all right, I'll come listen. Yeah, sorry, Clayton, there was someone talking there.
Yeah, that's all right.
I think that's a natural condition, and people have reported the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's just how people are. So you've got this new song out. So what's coming up next? Is there more?
I think the plan is to release more songs in the future, and it's probably be just one song at a time, and a full-length album at some stage. That's definitely in the books as well.
Well, I look forward to that. It sounds like you have to go with all the noise in the background, so we better let you go. So very quickly, thank you so much for joining us today, EchoLily. It's a pleasure chatting to you once again. Please stay safe in your day job and look after yourself. We've got the song here ready to go. If you could please introduce it for our Flow listeners.
Hi, this is EchoLily, and it's my new song, Mindspin. Thank you for listening.